WNYC Studios.
Note to Self is supported by Enterprise Florida, the official economic development organization for the state of Florida, offering immense opportunities for your business to grow, innovate, and explore. Curious about what Florida could do for your business? Learn more at www.floridathefutureishere.com. Note to Self is supported by Squarespace, launching their new campaign, Make Your Next Move. Make your next move and set new goals this year. Lock down your next move idea with a unique domain and create a website to launch today. Use offer code NOTE for 10% off your first purchase of a Squarespace domain or website. Make your next move with Squarespace. More at squarespace.com. Hey everybody, it's Manoush here. Just want to let you know we have bleeped out the F word in this upcoming interview, but we left in the SH word. Marina Abramovic uses it a couple times, but she says it in this like delightful Eastern European accent. We couldn't bear to take it out. So if you're listening with your family and this is a problem for you, totally understand. But you know what? Actually, it's just part of the whole atmosphere of this episode. Enjoy.
Okay, my name is Marina Abramovic, and the title of the book, Walking Through the Walls. No, I will say normal. No, this we're not recording now. No, not yet. Or we start.
Let's start. It's Note to Self, the tech show about being human. I'm Manoush Zomorodi. And yes, the woman behind that thick Slavic accent is Marina Abramovic. She is turning 70 this November, and right now Marina is perhaps the most famous performance artist in the world. As you heard, her new memoir is called Walking Through Walls, and she thinks our overcaffeinated, hyperproductive society needs her more than ever.
I think that right now the function of an artist is very important. Before you can be bohemian and kind of sit around and, drink to death and have fun with friends. Now we have more responsibility.
In the 70s and 80s, Marina became known for her intensely physical works, where she did things like use a knife to carve a star into her stomach and lay on blocks of ice, or meet her lover halfway down the Great Wall of China for a final goodbye before they broke up. She was always about pushing herself to the limits, emotionally and physically. But now, Marina thinks, we, all of us, are pushing ourselves to the limits in everyday life. Our phones tell us where our bodies need to be next and the fastest way to get there. Meanwhile, we mentally keep track of our audience's likes and comments on whichever virtual self we display that day on Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat. Many of us have become nearly as performative as Marina Abramovic. And so in response, she has changed the nature of her work. It's more about us now, and ways that we can restore our overtaxed systems. Last year, she had hundreds of New Yorkers lock up their phones and watches, and then sit in silence with noise-canceling headphones on for half an hour to prepare and clear their senses before listening to a concert of Bach's Goldberg variations. Producer Jen Point and I went to experience Goldberg.
And for me, at different points, I was reminded of my son's birth, of my brother's death. But
wow, Jen. The title we gave that episode was actually Marina Abramovic's Method Blew Our Minds. And we've re-released it as a bonus this week so you can experience it too. Anyway, Marina's new book is very fun. It's a very dramatic read. But when she came in for a visit, I wanted to focus less on her childhood in communist Serbia and more on the ideas and suggestions that she has for you, things that we can actually do to help us get a better grip on this hectic world, on our technology, and help us understand ourselves. This is a woman who, as you'll hear, laments having 2 cell phones, but would also go to Mars tomorrow if Elon Musk figured out how. And I gotta say, just hanging out with Marina Abramovic is a trip in itself. I want to read you a quote something I read from you. You said, you have to trust intuition. You have to trust this gut feeling that we are completely up with technology. And then you are kind of back into simplicity. Is it harder to find simplicity now?
We never stop looking the emails. We never stop texting messages. We never stop looking the phones. But we are the owner of ourselves. We have to say stop. If we just start simply of 2 hours a day not looking the phone, that could be a good beginning to understand what means having time for yourself. This is why my work now have more kind of resonance, because 20 years ago there would be not even any kind of public. But now public is so tired to look at things. They wanted to experience something different. Is just what is happening now.
What I love about you and how I think you're so different too is that you want to give people tools. Can we talk more about that?
So as an artist, what I discover, I actually create something called Abramovic method, which through all my 50 years of career, I went through so many different research and the kind of training to come to that point that these tools are very simple, could actually work. And I just introduced rice counting, lentils and rice counting. Sounds so simple. You have the pile of lentils and rice counting, and lentils, you divide them.
It sounds torturous.
And you just count them. And you know, if you really count them, the one handful rice and lentils can take 6 hours. You have to make decision. You're going to make small amount or you make the all. If you said yourself you make the all, you have to stick to it. You have to stick to a decision. If you can't make counting the rice and lentils, you can't make through life either. And then through the process, you go through these incredible stages. First, you are kind of interested and amused. Then you get to the angry. Then you go frustration. Then you say, what the hell am I doing? This is shit. I can do something else. When you go through all that things and finally say, but I'm going to do it, your breathing change, you're completely getting calm, and on the end of that process, it's incredible what happened to you. You actually come back to presence and to complete another state of mind. Simple exercise. Slow motion will be another one, and so on and so on.
Marina did her methodology a few months ago with museum visitors in Athens. So this is not just that artists can do this, is anybody can do this.
We are talking 53,000 people came through method. We're talking the Greece, which economical crisis, refugee crisis. We're talking the Greece that the biggest Goya exhibition had only 20,000 people. We attract 53,000 people. And the need of this kind of exercise was just
What did
incredible.
you do with them exactly?
You know, first you come in, you put your watch, your phone, a computer into locker. You go into the space. You've been taken by volunteers. We into the space and explain each exercise. So the first one you would do slow motion walk. You walk maybe 50 meters of the room, 3 hours in slow motion. Absolutely slow motion. Then you have another exercise counting the rice, then gaze, looking each other into the eyes, then lying on just a stretch bed with the closed eyes and just being there together with the community, standing on the platform. Everybody had the headphones who block completely sound. So you had total silence, still together with the people you never met in your life, and you can feel your heart beating. So you completely kind of detox from the busy life, from your phones, from all the stress, and you come into this calm state of mind. And that after this, you're guided to the other floor where you see a long duration work of different Greek artists who are performing 8 hours a day for 2 full months. And people start coming and they're bringing their own friends, and their own friends bringing their own friends, people from islands, from the families. You become a totally another community, which is not necessarily art. People were coming there to experience something which didn't experience before.
Is it different than mindfulness, which is sort of sweeping the United States?
It's different because it's in art context, because everything is about the context. If you make the bread in a bakery, you're a baker, but if you make the bread in the gallery of artists, the context changes everything. I also invite people to Benaki Museum, to Courtyard, to just come, to stay still 7 minutes and just holding hand on the shoulder of one another. 3,000 people came for that. The need of people to be together, to be human, to kind of vibrate this energy of peace is so incredibly big right now, more than ever before.
Can I ask you where privacy fits into this? We get a sense that we are signing away our lives. We're giving away all our personal information. We sign up for new things and we sign terms of service that we haven't even read. And there's with the revelations about the NSA, there's a real Big Brother sense going on. And yet it also seems very far away. You were born in a communist country. Do you have a personal perspective on what privacy actually means?
In communist countries, not much privacy, to tell you. In my time of when I was a child, private life was not important. It was important why you're on this planet, what is your aim, and what is your function here. So it was very important for me was to be an artist, to communicate my work and ideas the best as I can, and to kind of open consciousness of my audience.
But how did you figure that out if you didn't have that private space, the solitude to go inside yourself and really think about that?
I had much more time than I have time here in America. First, I read the books. I would take Dostoevsky and I read Dostoevsky for 1 month and don't go out of the house. Everything was provided by me. So I would just go to kitchen and eat and go back. Reality of the book was a bigger reality than me, than reality of outside world. I write poetry. I went to listen to classic music. I had my own world built in the parallel world what was there. And from that world that I built inside of me, I actually built this art world. But yes, this private, everybody here is afraid of privacy. You're afraid of being alone with yourself. You're afraid of just reading the book. Nobody's doing any of this. When all you're on social media, or you're on Instagram, or you're running around, but it's all your own will. You actually intrude your own privacy. But your own privacy is truly being alone, going to the desert, going to the waterfall, going look into the volcanoes, being with nature. This is what I do. I never do vacations. I do research trips when I go and confront myself with this kind of elements. And that really ideas comes the best. But what we do with the privacy, we kind of trash it by shopping, by going around with the friends, by drinking. That's not the privacy I'm talking about meaningful privacy, which is actually being in solitude.
I wonder if you'd agree with me that I think there needs to be a connection between that privacy that you just described and the idea of societal privacy, that we can't begin to ask these companies and the government to be transparent if we can't understand why we need privacy, deep inner life privacy.
This is again how to change consciousness of society, which is completely wrong right now. And I just want to give one for our listeners, one simple exercise they can do at home right now. So if you feel that everybody feels sometimes wake up with a full of energy, and you say, oh my God, this is great to start the day, you have your coffee, and then what you're going to do? Maybe it's the weekend, you run out, you're going to do shopping, or you're going to see the friends, or you go to run in town, whatever you do, or jogging, and you actually, on the end of the day, spend all of this energy. But what if you do something different? You wake up with all this energy, you switch your telephone, you put your watch away, you don't open computer, you take a chair next to the window, very quiet, sit on that chair and do absolutely nothing. What happened to that energy that you have? It's not going out of you, it's going inside of you. It's incredible beneficial exercise. You start thinking about the things you never have time to think. You get into this state of peacefulness that you don't have time otherwise. You're not spending it. You're actually gaining strengths. That's a simple exercise that everybody can do.
How long should they sit there for? Some of my listeners want to know exactly what to do.
You have to sit the certain amount of time. Take 3 hours. That's the time. You don't need to sit still. You can move on the chair, whatever. But just take 3 hours of your time that absolutely doing nothing. First hour,